So you can see the colour of my finger, and this is from an olive that I just ate off the street, and it's got the oiliness, but it tastes really bitter, and it's making me think of olive as really a medicine now, because it's a bitter. And usually when you get the olive in the packet at the store, it's not like that. It's totally different off the tree. So I just found a random tree, and I just started climbing up it, and it's an olive tree. And look how dark the juice is from this natural olive. So you've got powerful antioxidation, and it's a bitter, and it's got the fats in it. So naturally speaking, just by itself, it's some sort of little wonder fruit, because it's got the fats, like the avocado's got the fat, and it can feed the world. But look at this antioxidation here. That's amazing. I've never seen that before. Fresh off the street, and I'll take you to the tree in a minute. In the next segment of video, definitely we'll go have a look, because it's just around the corner. But you can just see how dark this is, natural, and they were green at the start. And this is the ripe stage, I'm sure. There was only 2 or 3 on the tree, and it's going into winter here in Uruguay. But that's amazing and totally exciting to see the colour of a natural organic olive just straight off the street. Awesome. Now I can feel in my mouth it's got like an antibiotic, like numbing. So it's super medicinal, because I'm feeling it like numb my mouth and being anti-parasitical, the oleorupine. Remember the longevity substance in oil, and why we drink olive oils is because it's got oleorupine in it, and that puts olive oil in the top 10 longevity superfoods. Like, not a superfood, but it's in the longevity foods. And a lot of people around the world who live over 100 years of age, they always say that they're eating olives, chocolate, and honey, stuff like that. So olives are always, or very often, in the top longevity foods. And look at that, we can see why. Look at the staining it's producing, and you can just imagine it doing that on the inside of your body, and it's making me sort of numb in my mouth as well. So it's super antiviral and antibiotic and antibacterial and antimicrobial, because you can imagine a microbe trying to crawl through this stuff. It's not going to get very far, because it's so like rico they say here in Uruguay, I think. But yeah, look how rich the colour is, and it definitely doesn't taste as nice as a store-bought olive. That's because it's more organic and more medicinal. So I'd encourage you to grow your own for sure, because I've noticed for the first time ever the difference in a wild foraged olive. And I'm pretty excited about it, because this is making me want to grow it even more. I have olive leaf tea all the time because the oleorupine, it's highly antiviral. But to actually have that out in front of me, staining this board like this, is just amazing, because look how dark this is. Super rich. Hey Josh, he's coming with me. Let's go foraging, Maggie. Come on. Yes, look, show the love, Beanie. We are in the love land of the new age. Look, oh, she won't show the beanie. Look, yeah. Love. So just around the corner from where I'm living, we've got these 2 olive trees just here. And remember, you just identify them by the leaves. I don't know if there's any olives up this one as well, but we all know the olive leaf there. You can see the leaves. But do you see any fruit? I don't see any olives on that one, but on these ones here, not on that one. I just got my olive that you're looking at here off this tree. Just off the end branches, there was 2. There's some up there.
Yes, here and here.
So there's a few little fruit up there. I'm zooming in on. They look ripe. And then there's some green ones. Maggie's going for a try.
My mom's gonna kill you.
Yeah, she can try and kill me.
Where is here?
Yeah, so go up to the next segment. Go up to the next bit there and put your foot up there. Yeah.
Yes, but this is one.
It's not going to break because I was there. I'm heavier than you. I was heavier, so. No, I was already there, Maggie. I'm heavier too.
Here, no. Don't. here.
Oh yeah, there's one.
Yeah.
If you can reach out,
But it is very far.
just reach the branch back and pull it towards you. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Benjamin Cowenberg from www.consciousazine.com. Let me just adjust the screen. Wrong button. So usually in the food plant teaching series we're concerned with the page Your Natural Paradise, which I'm now scrolling down towards. Usually we're concerned with this page, Your Natural Paradise. Now that's because that one has how to grow plants, all the edible flowers I've ever come across, and then the notes page, or the back page of that page, is where I've been working on for about the last year, when discussing videos and posting information on certain food plant teaching series videos. However, today we're actually going to go to another page I've made, Let Thy Food Be Thy Medicine, which is Hippocrates' axiom. The reason we're going here is because today we're discussing protein. Now, that is discussing food plants, as you'll see, and I just thought we'd take a detour and see some of the city sights, so to speak. There's other pages here, there's Natural Remedies Guru, which I could go to, which has, a specific what's honey good for, or what's black bean good for, or, what's pistachio good for. However, today on this page, we are associating ourselves with a post on protein, basically. You can see there's a whole lot of posts there. We're going down, we're going down, we're going down. There's a massive post there on probiotics that we're now going through. Now, here. So the reason I wanted to talk about this post is because this has the main differences between raw and cooked food. And the main difference is, besides things like your body treats cooked food like it's an invading body, and it'll release a lot of white blood cells to check the cooked food out that it isn't harmful. And with raw food, it does that a lot less. There's actually books written on that raw food doesn't incite a leukocytic white blood cell reaction, and nowhere near as much. So your white blood cells actually think the cooked food is an invading body, but not raw food apparently. Says the literature, well, some of it anyway. So the main differences between cooked and raw food, pardon me. The main differences between the raw and the cooked food is that with the raw food you get hormones and oxygen and phytonutrients and enzymes. Just as a side note, anyone who eats a lot of soy and is a vegan, I really want you to check out the large toxic soy section, because it's a huge section, and we'll scroll past that on our way down to the protein part of this. Now, because I went into, cooked meat here, and then, okay, well, if cooked meat loses so much of its, well, here's the soy part. Because if cooked meat loses so much of its protein, available good protein, and so you only get about 15% or something in the end, well, you might only be getting 15% protein out of the big chunk of meat by the time you finished eating it, and because you've cooked it, and unless you eat it quite raw, you've most likely cooked a lot of the protein out anyway. Now, because I've made this protein section, I thought this is a good discussion because it's on food plants, and a lot of my friends watching this series are no vegans and vegetarians. Now, you're welcome to do what you want to do. I don't always have hemp seeds, so I still occasionally eat meat, Now, it's not like, you know, once a week, twice a week. It's way more sparse than that. I remember just before I came here to Uruguay, I was down to eating meat maybe once every 3 months in a little chicken pie, a chicken curry pie in Australia. And that was just nice in the morning, cold morning, you know, after a surf. You need a whole hump of protein. That was a nice little way to get it sometimes. And I don't feel guilty. Because I do my part to save the animals on the planet anyway. Now, so, you know, save your comments, because I can go about that in many different ways, explaining why I had to, because I don't have my hemp seed. Now, it's a troubling thing in Uruguay. They're like 20 years behind in the health food shops, and they don't have hemp protein seeds anywhere to be seen, and I'm sure as hell not getting on whey protein or any of that bullshit. I'll avoid whey protein and any of that crap. I'd rather eat meat. Anyway, let's get into protein and sources of protein. So after all of my research, I wrote down a little list here on protein. Sorry, the cursor wants to... So here's the little section we're discussing right now for Jan's, I hope I'm saying your name properly, Jan's video, or Jean's video. So yeah, we're talking basically about protein. I like here what this person has commented. Nice pick, but all protein is not the same. In fact, most proteins are drastically different from one type to the next. While all proteins have something in common, most plant protein metabolizes in a manner that does not allow the calciferol, a form of vitamin D, to allow hormone information to be transferred from cell to cell in the same manner as many animal source types of protein do. So that's just one person's comment. And you know the story gets deeper if someone's commenting something like that, because neither me or this person is a scientist sitting behind the petri dish, so to speak. So this is what I have gathered after all my research, okay? So this is all we've got to work with today. Which foods have the most protein? Well, from what I've found, it seems to be foods that are closest to the sun. Blue-green algae like spirulina. I don't need much of it. I definitely don't need too much of it, but I'm not going to live just on spirulina. I refuse to live on any monotone substance or idea or grid structure of eating. That's why I'm not vegan, because it's very rigid. And that's why I can't bring myself to do something that silly to myself. Because I'm a cross-grid shaman. Now, I have a video on blood type eating, which, you know, how I say in that video, I go into, I think it's okay to eat anything as long as you thank the food for contributing to your evolution and actually use that energy for something decent other than sitting on the couch watching TV, so to speak. So you're meant to thank your food. You know how the shamans will kill their meat? That was the idea behind it, you know. They'll kill their meat humanely, they'll thank it for contributing to their evolution. Well, I do that with all food, whether I eat a bit of cheese, a bit of salad, or a bit of meat. I realize that the energy in this food, and you don't have to say it out aloud, you can, but I don't always say it out aloud, thank you for contributing to my evolution. I would seem like a bit of a weirdo at a restaurant, right? I do it under my breath, and I do it in realization so that it's honest. I look at the food and I realize this thing's nourishing me, and I thank it under my breath for contributing to my evolution just by the realization that it is. That's enough. Just realizing that it's contributing to your evolution and then to do something with that energy, not just sit around and poke your nose. That's the point. Anyway, so I've found, you know, I can eat just a little bit of spirulina in my smoothie and feel full. And then you feel, you know, satiated, like you've got your protein. Now, don't forget, there's different body types. You might need more fat, you might need more protein, or you might need more carbohydrates. is actually a triangle of different types of people. You might need more protein. You might need to eat 40% of your food protein in the day, and say that I'm different to you and I'm a fat type person. That means I might need 40% fat in my diet that day. And then say you might be a carbohydrate type of person who burns carbohydrates really a lot and really quickly. Then you might need 40% carbohydrates in your diet. It might be more like 90%, but you get the point. There's 3 different main types of people. So you need to check that out firstly, before going vegan, before this or that, before you just make some crude decision to cut certain things out of your life. So what I think is that there's something in this little post here, that foods closest to the sun seem to have more protein and amino acid forms in their bodies. So here I've got 40% protein for spirulina, so it's quite high. These have, and the blue-green algae spirulina have the top essential fatty acid, the exact one for your brain, and that your brain's made of. Spirulina is a cyanobacterium, blue-green algae, that can be consumed by humans and other animals. There are 2 main species, the Anspirilla platensis and Anthrospira maxima. Number 2, I'll put hemp seeds because they really fill me up. I mean, I want to put hemp seeds at number 1. It's my favorite source of protein. Hemp seeds are almost 40% protein. Hemp growing cycle is reaching for the sun, because plants fall upwards, in 13 weeks. So it's really close to the sun, in other words. This first thing we said here. Foods closest to the sun seem to have quite a lot of protein. Chia seeds. Some people have said that they're almost 50% protein, and because of all them amino acids, they're the protein profiles of the food. I've listed it below hemp seed because it doesn't feel as satiating and protein fatty filling feeling to me. It doesn't feel like a filling fatty like, because I think I have a little bit of a fatty food type body, where I need to eat quite a lot of avocados. I like to run on a ketogenic diet, which means a fat-based diet, not a sugar-based diet. So because I like to run my body on a lot more fat, like I love a lot of olive oil on my food, I even eat coconut oil. I like to eat a lot of fatty stuff. I love my chicken broth, and I don't feel there's anything wrong with that. I like my fatty foods. That's satiating my body, and I'm very healthy. I do eat all this stuff. I eat a smoothie a day. I'm on the superfood revolution, etc. I'm not lagging behind. It's just that I can't always get my hemp seed, and if I don't always get my hemp seed, I can't seem to just be satiated on chia and spirulina just yet. Although in summer, this year, I might well be able to, because I'm going to have a garden. See, there's different nuances in people's lives that don't allow them just to switch to being vegan. So the vegans need to calm the fuck down and think for a minute. Anyway, so bee pollen is 40% protein. I love having my bee pollen. I'm on that stuff every day. Even if it's just a little bit of a handful of bee pollen. I smash it into my smoothie with my cacao, and cacao has a lot of iron, magnesium, chromium. All these things help you to quit meat as well. And this has taken my meat eating back from maybe once or twice a week, or like 3 times, 4 times like the normal person does, to, some weeks I don't eat meat. So that's the point. When you add these things, it does make a difference. You will quit meat to some degree. I just want everyone out there to know that, who isn't a vegan and so on. Start experimenting is my main focus. Just start experimenting with these things. Goji berries. They're a complete protein with a complete amino acid profile and very bioavailable. You'll feel quite full after a little handful of gojis, and that's why, because they're a complete protein. Means they've got the 18 essential amino acids. So the sea vegetables, they're very thick, and they can give you quite a nice hit of protein as well. They don't pick up radioactivity, which is good in this world because we've got Fukushima just leaking into the ocean still. What, 5 years later? Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, high protein and essential fats. More nutritional than land veggies, the sea vegetables. Now notice they're very densely packed, that's why. They're very densely packed with minerals. Now this is filling. This fills you up. When you take Himalaya Soleil, the same effect happens. You feel more satiated in your body in general, which means you go for less things like meat, because your body will often just go to meat just thinking that it needs it, even though it might not. It might have a mineral deficiency, and so your body thinks, oh, that big chunk of meat I've been conditioned to eat must be satiating me. But it can be wrong. You can be talking with your parasites, and you can also be talking with unconsciousness. So you need to just need to start experimenting. That's my main focus for everyone. Just get into it. Start digging around in all these foods and see what works for you and your body and your blood type and your mind and your situational context. Okay. So sprouts are down on this list. Why? Well, as a seed, with every 1 pound of seeds, you can make 10 pounds of nutritional food. So that's a lot of food. And a lot of food will fill you up if you eat a lot of food. So the point is, before you eat meat, eat a lot of salad. Eat a lot of spirulina. Eat a lot of hemp seed. Eat a lot of bee pollen and gojis. Eat a lot of sea vegetables. Then, if you're still hungry for the meat, go ahead and eat your meat. But do this stuff first. Fill up on this stuff before and first and foremost. And then just check what happens, because with some people it just takes away the need to eat meat altogether for up to a year. It might not last the rest of your life, that strategy. You may come back to eating meat. Oh no. Look, I think we're getting in too much of a kerfuffle about this. I'm against the whole raising of the farm animals on grains and, all the mistreatment and all that, and the ethical standpoint, definitely. But we have to consider our own health as well. We are the apex animal on Earth. We are meant to steward the planet, and we can't do that in a weak position. Totally devoid of nutrition and energy because we needed to eat some meat that day. We need to make the right decisions, more and more so, I would say, in this world. It's getting wackier and wackier. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, so here's a little point, and if you're trying to get bigger and fatter, because I've noticed some simple people confuse the two, thinking because meat has protein, it is what keeps them big and healthy. Well, no, you're mostly clogged. A lot of big people are clogged, and their lymph system's clogged, and you might get cancers and tumours in those lymph nodes. And also there is in the fat of the meat bulking you up. Fat of meat does bulk you up, but there's a point I'm trying to put across. Try another way of weight gain. Try to eat, say, more sweet potato, coconut oil, and cashews and stuff like that. Cashews contain a lot of fat. Now, lastly, there's a little thing here on to get your 50 grams of required protein a day. I calculated this stuff here, the following. You'll need about 7 cups of green peas, quinoa, or broccoli to get your 50 grams of required protein a day, which is average, what the adult needs. Or if it's chickpeas, kidney beans, or edamame beans. Is that how you say them? I thought it was endamine. Anyway, if it's the beans, usually it's about 3 to 4 cups. If it's the greens, like the green peas, the canola, and the broccoli, it's usually going to be more, like 7 cups or 8 cups. So if it's the greens, it's about 8 cups. If it's the beans, it's about 3 or 4 cups. If it's nuts, you'll probably only need about 1 to 2 cups. I've heard people say you only need 7 cashews per day. Now, I thought that was a vegan pedantasy, and that person was going a little over the top, because I can easily eat a cup of cashews and not go overweight. So once again, don't just listen to what everyone says. Try it out for yourself, obviously. If someone says you only need 7 cashews, well, push it. Push their idea. Push their idea. Have 8 cashews. Be a rebel. Okay, anyway. So if it's greens, you might need about 7 or 8 cups. If it's beans, to get your daily protein, you might need about 3 or 4 cups. And if it's nuts, you might need 1 or 2 cups. And a cup equals about 8 ounces in American lingo. So we avoid tofu, I put there for the toxic reasons above. All of this list here, check it out, all dated, they're all references, just check it out. That's just a little bit of a list from my research. More here, more there. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a bit on protein. Now I thought, what plant can I plant? Because I usually strive to plant a plant for you guys and your donation. So thanks, Jean or Jean, or however I pronounce your name. Thank you for donating, obviously. You helped me get to Uruguay, and I'm ever so thankful. Yeah, I'm having a good time here so far. I'm enjoying myself. It's really cold right now in the winter. So yeah, I do need my protein. I've been having bone broth chicken bone broth, which is good for the gut. My partner actually needs them for her gut as well, so she doesn't get, because you know, bone broth and chicken bone broth, it has collagen. It releases collagen, which is good for your intestinal wall. So bone broth is actually one of the top treatments recommended by certain doctors in our world for treating IBS and leaky gut and just intestinal problems. So we've been having a few of them, because every Tuesday we go to the local market here, and the chicken is a good price and it's nice chicken. And so that will be my 1 meal a week, possibly 2 meals a week of meat. And that's about all I'm having in the vicinity of meat. The rest of it is, I do have spirulina going. Luckily, Veronica has spirulina, so I'm putting that in some of my smoothies. I'm on the bee pollen every day. I love the bee pollen at the moment. Still on that for like the last 6 months to a year now. Loving it. Goji berries, as much as I can get them. They burn the goji berries here, but they still have some nutrition left in them. So be careful, you know, with your food. If you can persuade your health shop to not burn the gojis, that's a really good thing. And check that your goji berries aren't coming with aluminium ties. Some people process or put the goji berries in aluminium things and all this stuff. There's nuances, but we're getting there. We're getting better with our health, all up. By sharing information like this, I think we're doing a real good job. I like to put this on the internet just in case that I change someone's day to day and they learn something about chia seeds, or hemp seeds are 40% protein. Okay? So I recommend you all make videos. Obviously, I recommend everyone makes videos, and if I'm wrong on something, make a video. Say, Ben was wrong on this, and make a video. Do it. I'm fine with that. I don't care about your slander. But yeah, I'm enjoying that we're all making videos, sharing this knowledge. So this video today was really on protein. and it was about a little bit about raw and uncooked food as well. So you can look further into this post if you wanted to check the other main points. The hormones, the oxygen, the phytonutrients, and the enzymes are the main difference between cooked and uncooked food, obviously. So that's what this main post was about. This was just a little subsection on the protein. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, meat is actually pretty simple. It's mainly amino acids, fats, carbohydrates, trace minerals, and water. And then we get that familiar crunch and tear of the meat, and the chew and the resistance. Now, I recommend a smoothie a day, every day, one smoothie. It doesn't mean you take the whole smoothie. You might not feel up to it that day. You might need to express your vata, pitta, or kapha differently that day. You might need to have more hot food that day, so you might like a chicken bone broth. You see what I'm saying? Every day is different. Every body is different. And you go even into the differences of what I just mentioned there, the what are they called again? The vata, the vita, the kapha, and the pitta. The Ayurvedic food types of the body. For instance, I think I was what was I again? A pitta? Anyway, I think I'm the type that needed more hot food sometimes, and I really get to enjoy that meal, and it's really satiating. That'll stop you having shakes and everything. And it's cold here, so I'm definitely going to have my chicken bone broth. So yeah, anyway, there's nuances to health. I want everyone to get out of the vegan mindset, because that's going to work for you for a couple of years. It may work for 10 years if you're lucky, if you're doing it right, and you're including all this stuff in there. Then it might work for 10 years. But at some point you run low and you see that something's missing. For instance, like this guy said. I don't even know this guy, but he made a good point. Many proteins are so different. The amino acid profiles are different, the structure, etc. You know, most plant protein metabolizes in a manner that does not allow the calciferol, a form of vitamin D, to allow hormone information to be transferred from cell to cell in the same manner as many animal-sourced types. So he made a point. And I know that we should be having some animal oils. So I want everyone just to take a step back from their belief system right now, because this is not a belief system. I've just done a bit of research, smashed it on a page, and talked about it. That doesn't mean it's a belief system. I may have shown some of my belief systems while I'm talking, but the point is I want everyone to just step back for just 1 second for your health, not for me, even though it will affect my world if you're healthier. But I want you to do this one for you. Just step back from your belief for a second and read the information from a fifth dimensional perspective. What does that mean? Well, it means that you're not in your little contraction cycle of the third dimension, in your little belief. I want you to step out of that little contraction cycle into a non-bias, without any bias viewpoint. So step back from your belief for a minute and just look at the information I've presented here. Whatever grid type of eating you are, whether you're a pescatarian, vegetarian, fruitarian, or vegetarian, or vegan, or whatever, or breatharian, or liquidarian. See, I'm often, I love to be a liquidarian. I do it for 2 days at a time. And then the next day I might eat meat, I might not. I might just have a smoothie. Then the 4th day I might eat some meat. So, you know, every day is different, as well as every body is different. I don't know if you noticed, every day is different. And if it's not, oh, I pity your life, my friend, because every day is different for me. I don't work in an office. I don't like routines like that because I'm not a robot. I'm a human being. So I just want you to step back from your belief system for a minute and just take a look at the percentages of proteins here. If you are a meat eater, check out what you could be doing instead. Instead of one hunk of meat, Perhaps you could have had a smoothie, filled your hand with bee pollen and goji berries, had a chia seed in your smoothie, eat some hemp seed with some biodynamic yogurt. You know, the options might have been a lot different for your day, and you might have had a lot more enjoyment if you didn't eat that piece of meat and first you went through about 5 or 6 of these things. Maybe you had a cup of nuts, then you had broccoli with your, I don't know, dinner, you know, and you got your protein that way. So we've discussed a few things here, people. I'd like you to go back over the video and realize all the different points I made, because it wasn't just one simple eat meat or don't eat meat point. Okay? Now, what can I plant, like I said before I got derailed again? I was thinking for Kevin's video, and sorry Kevin, the last video on eye health for the $30 Bandit video series here that I'm making. Sorry Kevin, I didn't mention, but I will actually plant goji berries for your plant, for your film. And for this film, for Jean or Jean, I was thinking, what can I plant? Well, I don't have hemp seeds. I'd love to have planted those. I could plant chia seeds, maybe. I'm not sure how to go about that, actually. I'm not going to plant bee pollen, because that doesn't plant. And then I thought, well, sprouts. I might plant a whole bunch of sprouts. So we'll see, Jean. I'll decide. I like chickpeas, so I might plant some chickpeas. Or I might plant some beans. So we'll see. I'm just undecided yet, but I'm going to put that on the end of this video, so you will see what I plant for your video. And thanks again for donating.